Call to order of the Kearney School District Board of Education meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Here.
Jason Clint.
Here.
Jake Klainsmith.
Here.
Christina Lindsay.
Here.
Chris White.
Here.
Nick Vasquez.
Here.
Colleen Bailey.
Here. We have a quorum. Next, the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have School Spotlight, which tonight is the Early Education Center.
Appreciate that. Hi there, I'm Amy Baugh. I'm the principal at the Early Education Center. Thanks for having us this evening.
I'm Amanda Texter, social worker and parents as teachers, parent educator.
Oh, got this guy. So we wanted to share with you, we have a new resource up and running now. It's our Bitty Bulldog clothing closet. So we have collected donations of a number of different things from newborn all the way through 5-year-old-ish size as a resource for the greater community. We have things for all seasons. We've got swimsuits and snowsuits and everything in between. There's also a ton of accessories. It's not just clothes. So there's shoes, scarves, hats, socks, underwear, backpacks, anything kiddos could need at an early childhood age. Also have a wealth of hygiene items as far as toothbrushes, even crib bedding. We have some bottles, feeding supplies, and then just home cleaning supplies, lotions, soaps, things like that that families might need with little ones.
So we've had just a really great response from our community. The Kearney Optimist Club has been really generous in giving us some diapers of sizes we didn't have. And then also we do our holiday event in December, and so families were so generous and staff members of just providing different things we requested. And then we also have the partnership with Giving the Basics, which a lot of the school nurses use to help with different toiletries. So we've been able, the social work department has used some of those as well. So it's just been like a collective effort, which is really cool to see everybody coming together. And then we also have this developmental toy lending library. So it's a labor of love and a work in progress. But what we're hoping for is that parents as teachers and the Early Education Center might be able to utilize these toys if needed. We all know that we all as parents get these toys and then they kind of quickly, the parts get disassembled and you lose track of them. So it's just an opportunity for people to be able to borrow those items. We've also really mostly this year been using it too, like during the holidays and birthdays, if families of different income levels aren't able to provide full items for Christmas. We did welcome families to come in, and a couple of families took us up on that and were able to get some items for their kiddos for the holidays. So that was great.
That was actually inspired by a phone call we got from a community member just asking if we happened to have anything that was like that, where like babies who outgrow their baby toys could bring those in and maybe check out new items like you would at a library. And I thought that was such a fun idea. So we've had a lot of people that are happy to bring in old toys and get them out of their basements and closets and garages, including myself. That's been great.
We will take all your things. If anybody has 0 to 5T clothes or toys, bring it. Yep. Love it.
Yep. We also have National Junior Honor Society students that come and help us sort once we get donations and get things arranged in there for us. And some
sanitizing the toys.
Yep. Yep. Getting things bagged together, making sure all the pieces are there. It's no fun to get home and put together a puzzle that's missing one piece. I can speak from experience. But it's been a group effort. Brittany King, our Parents as Teachers coordinator, she helped coordinate donations with the holiday celebration. She also really encourages all the parent educators to spread awareness of the program throughout the community. Our nurse, Caitlin Harstad, has been great organizing donations, like Amanda said, with Giving the Basics and other items. She also, when we have needs in-house for students in our buildings, she really helps kind of coordinate those efforts during the school day. And then Kim Evans, our administrative assistant, is wonderful. She promotes donations. She's always saying, oh, well, if you're getting rid of those things, you know, when she hears parents talking in the lobby, bring them on in, we'll take them, and kind of coordinates when parents are bringing in big drop-offs. But really, Amanda has been our spearhead for this and meets with families all times of the evenings and weekends so that there's some confidentiality there and it can be done, not as publicly. And so she's been wonderful about meeting families and really reaching out to community partnerships to make this a great opportunity for families.
And then I would say Dr. Baugh's not on her either, but this was her idea. So we're really excited to bring it to fruition. So thank you.
And that's that. Thank you.
That is awesome. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, next we have recognitions. And the first one is going to be stunt.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Schmeltz, and I am the head coach of cheer and stunt. This is cheer with a group stunt, all the same words, but it is actually part of our cheer program. So we were able to compete at Game Day State. These 4 seniors came to me and really wanted to compete a group stunt. And I said, oh, well, Kearney's never done that. We have no experience doing that or any scoring to go off of, but sure, let's do it. So we all got to be each other's Valentines because we competed on Valentine's Day. And we basically worked for about 2.5 months beforehand and kind of looked at a sample score sheet, which was super vague, and worked up just a really fun routine. It was a lot of these 4 seniors who, by the way, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this, none of them cheered before their freshman year of high school, and they went into the stunt competition for cheer, and we worked on some things that they were working on, and then some things that we kind of reimagined and just made a really fun stunt group. And out of 18 teams that were registered, 16 showed up, and this group stunt got 3rd place. And it was so exciting to see them out there. When you go out there, everybody at game day really has a great time. It's a really good atmosphere, but everybody has their whole team there. So they might have one stunt group go up there, but they've got JV and varsity all there to cheer them on. We had us and their parents, but they just went out there like total rock stars, and they lit up. I mean, you could see when they did their first element, you could hear the from the crowd, and it wasn't a bad, oh no, they're gonna fall. It was a, wow, how did they do that? When we looked over the score sheets, the teams that scored ahead of us, we were at a 51.3, I believe. Carl Junction was at a 51.31. And the champion, which was, Fort Zumwalt South was the 2nd place team. The 1st place team was Carl Junction, and they were at a 51.316. So the first 3 teams were very tight in competition. They had been competing there for about 6 years. They had about 3 or 4 stunt groups that they were working with there, able to trade each other out. So I was just really proud of these seniors. It took a lot of their dedication and their just basic abilities to be able to put on such a good show. I was just talking to one of the college coaches who's trying to get most of our senior class, and she was like, what is it with Kearney? Why are you guys so good at everything? And I was like, I don't really know what to tell you besides it's just cliche, but Kearney kids are just built different. They really want to do well. We have a really good community that supports everything that we do. And I don't know, we don't have special water. They're just awesome kids. So I think that's, just such a good thing to have so many people recognizing how good we are in academics and in sports and activities. And I thought it was just really cool for them to point us out over all these other schools. So the stunt group was made up of Kenna Chenoweth, Lily Hessel, Natalie Knight, and Amara Miles. I believe Lily isn't fully decided on college. Kenna is going to get her real estate license, and Natalie and Amara both have offers to cheer in college. So congrats, girls. So proud of you, and thank you guys for all of your support.
That could have been bad, man.
I think he's gonna put you in the middle here, probably, ladies, right around here. Scooch in the middle. There you go. Or what do you want, Ray? Do you want him on the other side? By the K. We're gonna move it twice.
Parents want to get your shot? No? Oh. Break that tee?
That's awesome. Okay, next we have swim. Coach Warman.
Hi there. I'm Trevor Warman. I am the swim coach, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to celebrate all of these young kids and these student athletes and what they were able to accomplish at our state meet last November. These boys were able to medal at our state meet, which is first team all-state honors and top 8 in the state in the 400 freestyle relay, which is incredibly hard to do. They finished in 8th place and was down to the wire. It was the competition was razor thin. So, they swam fast, they did amazing. And then Isaac over here is the first diver in program history to ever stand on the podium and medal at the state meet. So he was able to make some school history, continue to break his school records over and over throughout the season. So incredibly proud of them and what they were able to accomplish. And, I say this every year at our banquet, but you have to be a little bit crazy to enjoy swimming. And I know that's true because I am. There's no game involved. It's just, perseverance, pushing your body to the limits. You got your face in the water, staring at the black line all day. So it takes a lot of grit and perseverance and resilience. And I'm incredibly proud of these guys and what they were able to accomplish. So we're also missing 2 others. Isaac Jensen, freshman, he was a great newcomer to the team. And then, of course, Whitaker Stewart, who secured his 6th and 7th state titles, which is tied for the most in Misha swimming history. I would argue that he's the most dominant swimmer in Misha history from any school. When you see Katie Ledecky at the Olympics and nobody else is on the screen, that's what it's what it's like watching Whitaker swim. So it's been a real joy to see that every day at the pool and see that greatness. So I want to give them their flowers since they couldn't be here tonight. But yeah, super proud of these guys. Me too, Paul.
Oh, hold on. I guess we have a parent. Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm also excited to have the opportunity to talk about one of our swimmers on the girls' team, Kaylee Gerber. She's a sophomore. She accomplished a lot of incredible things this year. For the first time in 8 years, we were able to bring back a relay to day 2 at finals at state, which is top 16, and she was a crucial member of that. But not only did we bring 1 relay back, we brought 2. So it was incredible to watch these girls work, and she was obviously a huge part as to why we were able to achieve that with our relays. She is also the first swimmer to come back to day 2 for finals at state in 5 years, so since 2021. She did that in the 50 freestyle. She works incredibly hard. This season was full of grit and perseverance and battling through adversity. And the determination that she showed all season long was incredibly impressive. She held herself with grace and poise, especially at that state meet with a lot going on, and so incredibly proud of her and what she was able to accomplish, and to make it on that podium at the state meet is incredibly impressive, especially in an individual event. It's a fast meet with lots of really, really great competitors, and she proved herself to be one of those people at the top, the cream of the crop. So incredibly proud of you, Kaylee, and all that you accomplished. So. Yes.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, good evening. First off, thanks for having us. This is your boys' state team minus a couple. So we had 9 qualifiers this year, and 7 of them came home with a state medal. So it was something that led to a state runner-up finish for the boys' team. It was right off a hot district tournament where I think that was the first time that they were just really firing on all cylinders. We were in second place until the last match, and then we tied for a district title for the first time in a while. And we tied for a state title, 10 years ago, so it wasn't crazy uncommon, but it was just because these guys came out just firing. And I think something we talked about from the beginning that they got really good at was, in wrestling, it matters how you win a pin versus a decision, and these guys are just pinning machines. And it carried over into state too, where that's what day 1, we were never in first place at the state tournament, but we were in a battle for the top 4. And just the bonus points that these guys were able to put up just really put them over the top. And second was locked up before we even started the finals. And then having 3 guys finish as state champions, going 3 for 3 in the state finals, obviously added a few extra points there to close the gap, but still finish behind one of those private schools that gets to bump up to Class 4 next year. So we'll be without them. So that'll be good. So we introduced them individually. Down here we have our lone senior, Kenny Davis. Kenny wrestled 150 pounds for us and finished his career as a 2-time state qualifier, won a match on the backside, picking up a fall and getting some important bonus points for us. Kendall's, first one right there. Perfect. Oh, no. Do I? Probably not, but did that luck out? That lucked out. That was good. Next, I got freshman Ty Bell. So freshman came in. Ty wrestled 106 pounds for us, the lightest weight, and he filled it up real well. What he did was, usually when you're at that weight, we joke that you get a lot of freebies. You get to go out and get your hand raised. He didn't have any of those. So he wrestled over, 58 matches for us this year, and won 49 matches as a freshman on varsity and led the team in wins. Wow. And then finished with a state championship. Oh, nice. Ty Bell. Next, we have the tall guy, Carter Temple. So coming in off a football state championship, we slow played it, and he didn't wrestle as much as he would have usually in December. So we really got him full go in January, coming off a little injury and a little football things that we were doing. So got him full go, and it was no looking back. His goal from the beginning was to go get his third state title, and third state title in 3 years. So 2 state titles in one year for football and wrestling, and then 3 state titles in his junior year, and we're gonna go for 1 more next year. So, Carter Temple. Next, we have junior Phoenix Shelton. This was Phoenix's 3rd trip to the state tournament and first time finding that podium, finished in 5th place. So Phoenix did a fantastic job picking up, again, just a pinning machine is what Phoenix became this year, just always picking up bonus points and getting those important wins for us. Next, we have junior Braden Robinson. This was Braden's 2nd time at the state tournament and 2nd state medal, finished in 4th place. Braden had the tough job of wrestling up a weight class pretty much the entire season. And then after a few injuries and a thing shook out, got to wrestle the weight he would have preferred to wrestle the whole year, and showed that he belonged real quick by going and finding himself in the state medal round again. Junior Cale Davis. So Cale had spent a lot of the season wrestling up a weight class, just doing the best we could to fill 14 weight classes. And then when it comes to postseason, it switches. You still want to do what's best for the team, but we got to make a few changes, do what's best for the individual. And he knew, and we kind of had talked from the beginning, like, hey, you're going to fill a role on a dual team for us up a weight, but then when it comes to postseason, there's a good chance you're going to go 157. And he spent most of the year not in the rankings, but won obviously a ton of matches for us. And then just really caught fire at the district tournament, knocking off the number 1 seeded kid in the district finals, and then realized real quick that he belonged and went and knocked off that same kid in the state finals and finished as a state champion. And lastly, another junior heavy, Landon Westfall. Landon's 3rd trip to the state tournament and 2nd time bringing home a state medal, finishing in 4th place. So we got everyone but Kendall coming back for us. So we have 7 returning state medalists coming back next year. J.D. Romero's not here tonight, and Cale Tucking's not here tonight. So those are 2 more guys that were a part of it with us that helped contribute to that 2nd place team finish. You guys, we can come on in and take a picture. Coach Tish, you want to talk?
We can get you all in a row. All right, good enough. Okay, hang on. 1 second. Good. All right, parents, your turn.
I was looking for you.
All right, good evening. Thanks for having us once again. So, girls wrestling team, this is the state team. We had 8 qualifiers and 6 state medalists. I'll just kind of run through here real quick. recap of kind of the season. So I had another successful one. I would say we beefed our schedule up a little this year. We wrestled what would be considered a national schedule. We went to the Ironman, did some serious fundraising, took a trip out, wrestled with over 130 teams in Ohio, and we placed 6th place there. We came back. We were a little beat up after that trip. We wrestled in the Kansas City Stampede the following week, which is another very tough field of teams, and we finished 9th with a kind of a decimated lineup. Same story, kind of we went to the Wonder Woman over Christmas break, which is a 90-plus team field of teams from all over the Midwest. We placed 5th there and had 2 champions, and that was without 2 of these state medalists in our lineup. So we wrestled a really tough tournament schedule this year, and we thought that that would prepare us for the state tournament, and it did. We went into the district tournament as the favorites, and we won by a 40-point margin. We went to the state tournament. We're getting better at the math down there. We've been scraping by for a while, and we went down this year and took the lead from the beginning and kept it. And that was good on my heart. So, yeah, I prefer to do it that way in the future. 9-1 dual record. Our one dual loss was a tie to one of the top teams in Class 2 in our dual tournament, Fort Osage. So kind of going back just to some things through the numbers here. We are now the winningest girls program in Missouri. We're tied for 4 state titles with Lebanon. We are the only team to have 4 straight in a row. We won by a 20-point margin at the state tournament. 6 medalists, 2 champs, and they're all coming back but 1. So Kearney Wrestling's doing well, or both sides of the ball here. So I'll just kind of run down the list here in order from over there and kind of just give you the spiel of how they did. So Ella wrestles, kind of Coach Hill mentioned about people sacrificing for the team, and Ella's one of those. She's a competitive cheerleader year-round, and then she wrestles the 235 weight class. She only weighs about 174 pounds. So we have to really kind of keep an eye on her, but she's wrestling girls that are 2 weights above her, and she does really well. She placed at all those national events we went to. She went 2-2 at the state tournament, lost a heartbreaker in the bubble match, but we got high hopes for Ella, and I mean she's gonna get on the podium for us in the next 2 years. I have confidence. Zola Williams. Zola's a freshman for us. So Ella's a junior, by the way, or sophomore. Sorry. Yeah, don't shake your head at me like that. And then Zola's a freshman. Zola is currently, I checked before we got here because the rankings changed weekly, but she is currently ranked by one publication number 17 in the country and by another number 12 in the country. She won a freshman state title. She didn't surrender a single point in the postseason. It speaks for itself. She's going places. So that's Zola Williams, state champ freshman. Carly Vargas standing there next to her. She is a junior. I had to make sure I'm right. You guys have got me second-guess myself now. So she's a junior. She is a 3-time state finalist now and now a 2-time state champion. Just like Zola, she is also nationally ranked in the top 20 in the country. She is now a 2-time state champion. She's a Fargo All-American. She's won the Wonder Woman twice. She's doing big things. The phone's starting to ring for her. So Carly Vargas. And then we got Mila Woolridge, sophomore. Mila is now a 2-time state medalist. She took 5th as a freshman. She was one that, really, her season had a little bit of adversity in it. She got dinged up a little bit in the grind of our schedule. We took some time off and got her back firing at the right time, and she went on a pretty good run. She knocked off some really good girls this year. Kind of a couple fun facts. When we were at the Ironman, she beat the number 3 girl in the country. Then we knocked off a girl that was ranked above us at the district tournament that had beat us previously. And then she went on a run to pin her way to the state finals and lost to a 4-time state champion, one of the very few in Missouri history. So, and she was the only girl actually in 4 years that's made that girl wrestle a full match at the state tournament. So pretty proud of Mila's effort there. So that's Mila. And then we've got Rebecca Laughlett. Rebecca's a freshman. Fun fact about Rebecca is this time last year she was a figure skater. So she's now a state qualifier so she wrestled in the middle school for us. She decided she was going to go all in, did all the summer things, came to the fall stuff, and she caught fire at the right time of the year. She took her lumps early and stayed with the program, believed in the system, and got hot at the district tournament and qualified and got some state experience. And we're excited about getting her back. She's got a great attitude and she's a great worker. And that figure skating, it factors in. Yeah. And then we got Ada Appenfeller. Ada's a junior for us. Ada is now a 2-time state qualifier, and she reached the podium for the first time in her career. She took 5th place. Her tournament, I would say, was like, one word would define it, would be gritty. It was she wrestled decision after decision. I prefer, like I said, we're getting better at the math. We're pinning people, and that's good on my heart. Ada, she works on my heart a little bit. She keeps them close, but she finds ways to dig out gritty wins, and that's kind of just her personality. She does a lot with, with her talent. She gets in and works hard and takes coaching, and we're excited about getting her back. My lone senior here on the state team, Riley Walker. Riley is now a 4-time state medalist. She's been a part of 4 state championship teams, and her whole career has been overcoming injuries, overcoming battles with illness and things. And she always just seems to find the heart and the drive to get it done at the right time of the year. And she's been a cornerstone of 4 of our state titles, and she's going to be hard to replace. So that's Riley Walker. And then here next to me we got Bella Wenzel. Bella is a sophomore. The 2nd time to the state tournament. She also reached the podium for the first time and got 4th place. Couple of close heartbreakers. She had big goals. Her bracket had a 3-time defending state champion in it, and she had goals of knocking her off. Lost the match before we get to that point, right? She used the girl that won actually knocked her off, so big upset there. But Bella was the only offensive points scored on the girl who won the bracket in her weight class. So even though we up and down the lineup, we could talk about things that could have went a little bit differently. The state tournaments like that, you celebrate things that are like amazing, and you see these girls that achieve what they've been working for, and then a few of them go back to the drawing board. But that's what's awesome about our wrestling program as a whole is our kids they expect to win, they expect to compete, and they come back and figure out a way. And so these girls that didn't get what they wanted, I got a hunch that 5th one's coming next year, and they're going to be a part of that. So that's it.
Perfect. Parents, get your shot.
We'll talk about that later.
Thank you all for coming.
Yep,
You
you
do not
guys
have
don't
to stay.
Unless you want to.
I mean, it'll be riveting, but.
Everybody usually does. I can't figure this out.
Thank you.
How many athletes was that? Do you know? Do we have a total? Sorry.
It's like 9 and 7. It's a lot.
Bunch, because I counted how many parents, if everybody's parents belong.
Pretty impressive.
Be fun to see them next year because they didn't really have any.
Yeah, they won't say anything. No, just, yeah, I'm sorry. And the voice.
All right, future's bright for that wrestling program. They got a lot of kids coming back.
Both of them.
Yep. Next, we have no public comment, so we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Bailey. A couple more things. I really appreciated Coach Smelt's comments about the talent of our kids. It's just amazing that we get to celebrate so many students. A few more acknowledgments. Kearney High School boys basketball made it to quarterfinals and districts. Kearney High School girls basketball conference champions and reached state quarterfinals. Next month, we will be celebrating Golden Girls who received third at state. Other student recognitions, Kearney High School Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America earned second place honors for their interior design capstone project. 11 members of the Kearney High School boys wrestling team earned Greater Kansas City Blue All-Conference Wrestling honors. 3 Kearney High School sophomores have been selected to participate in the 2026 Missouri Scholars Academy, and this is one of the state's most prestigious academic enrichment programs for gifted students. 10 Bulldogs earned softball academic all-state honors and had a team GPA of 3.68, students first, right? Kearney High School Symphonic Band earned an exemplary rating from all 4 judges at Misha State Large Group Festival. All Kearney High School choirs earned exemplary ratings at Misha District 17 Large Group Vocal Festival. Kearney High School Ag Education teacher Erica Hart has been named Golden Owl semifinalist of the year. Kearney First Technical Challenge robotics team earned first place at the Innovation Award for the robotics lifting mechanism at the Missouri-Kansas West Super Qualifier. Kearney High School, and I just want to pause there for a second again, not only recognizing our students and their accomplishments, but I also think it's really important that we acknowledge coaches and sponsors. So much time and effort goes in and dedication. They are committed and humble, and we saw that tonight. I did want to share that Mr. Underwood's English 3 class, it was pretty exciting. They had real-world learning presentations. They collaborated with the city of Kearney really to focus on World Cup watch parties. And it was really nice to see 4 or 5 teams really think through how to make this go for the city, all the way from city beautification, all the way to operation of the event. So they really did a nice job. I'm going to switch gears here for a second. I want to talk a little bit about legislative updates. If you happen to be following the legislature in Missouri, you know that the House has passed a bill to bring an initiative petition to voters to phase out the income tax. And again, a word of caution, this still has to go through the Senate. There's still a process, so please know that. So we're continuing to watch to see how that will potentially impact public education. House Bill 2720, again, an area, and I've mentioned this in the past, the A through F district report card, continuing to see how that gets fleshed out, and really probably what we're most concerned with is the weighting. And as I've mentioned in previous reports, you know, if 2/3 of that is going to be based on growth, what we could see is a really volatile score on an annual basis. So again, we're looking at what DESE's recommendation will be and what the state legislature will actually pass moving forward. Another note, and you'll hear this later from Mr. Schwinn, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about state funding. Last week, Mr. Schwinn was on a call with the Assistant Commissioner for DESE, Dr. Cruz, and one of the things that he shared, and we've been monitoring this and discussing this, I don't know, probably for the last 6 months about the state adequacy target. So it was intended to be at 7145, and that was the factor that was going to go into the formula. And we've been tracking that it's been trending towards 6,900. We received word last week that DESE feels that it will stay at 6,900. And what that means for dollars at the district level is that's a loss of about $850,000 that we had budgeted if the funding formula was fully funded. In addition, Mr. Schwinn's going to share with you tonight in his report, you'll see that local revenue is also down. Part of that is because of the Senate Bill 190 and the senior citizen tax credit. One of the things that's happening at the county, anybody who's eligible, they have held all the property taxes from taxing jurisdictions. So we're seeing a lag of about $3 million in local revenue. So just be aware of that, and he will touch on that. And lastly, it is Board of Education Appreciation Month. So a lot goes behind the scenes that our patrons probably don't see, the preparation for board meetings, the work sessions that go on, answering phone calls and emails and following up with district administrators, going to student activities. So a lot of time goes on behind the scenes, and we are incredibly appreciative of your commitment to our and service to our school district and making sure that we stay an exceptional education institution. So thank you very much.
All right, next we have the consent agenda.
Move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have information items, bond project update.
Good evening, everyone. As we've talked before, the Southview roofing project has kind of jumped to the top of our priority list for the remaining bond funds from 2022 bond. And Ben Van Drew is here to kind of talk through some of that from the construction side. We will also be moving forward with epoxy resin flooring for Hawthorne Elementary and Kearney Elementary, and that will be asked for approval of those two items later in action items. So I'm going to let Ben talk through those processes.
Good evening. Some new faces since I was up here last. So I'm Ben with Newkirk Novak. We've been working here for several years and excited to still be working here. I think, you know, Eric talked about the epoxy, which is pretty straightforward, that we're going to ask for approval on tonight. That would get completed. We've got two different contractors going to the two schools, so you ensure that both of them get done over the summer. So that's pretty straightforward. What we've been involved in recently is the Southview roof, and so there's been a lot of action happening on our end, research, different types of roofing systems, different types of decking systems, because there is some what they call tectum decking in some areas that needs replaced. So that actually, you have to take it off, put a new deck down. And so what we think the best value for the district is, and the best long-term value, is to go back with a metal deck. So you won't have this problem ever again if you put a metal deck on, of having to replace it, and it's a little bit less expensive. So we've done a bunch of research, gone through a bunch of scenarios. Now there is a design team on board kind of finalizing design for this decking and also venting for the roof. So part of the reason that the roof has deteriorated is because proper venting was not installed the last time the roof was replaced. So that's all being taken into account in this design. Should have a design here pretty quick, maybe into this week, early next week, and then we'll go finalize pricing with roofing contractors. So we're working really fast to try to get through this, but there's a lot of interesting details and nuances with that roof. So as a part of the pricing plan, we will put a schedule with it. Not sure we can get the whole roof done this summer. We're going to do everything we can to try and work multiple crews and things like that. So we're in the process of figuring that out. So when we come back to the administration and then to your team here, we'll have that plan in place. We're just still kind of working through all the details of it. So a lot happening. We know it's a priority. And the summer's coming quick when it comes to trying to do something like this, so it's kind of all hands on deck from our side to help figure this thing out. So more to come, but we got a really good team working on it right now. So
beyond the roof, are there any structural issues that have to be addressed, or is it just the roof?
Just the roof, and this deck that I'm talking about replacing is kind of the structural piece of it, but the trusses that hold that decking up, everything's in really good shape there. So,
Good to hear.
Yep.
So that tectum's a sound barrier too. I assume what you're talking about putting back in metal is going to have some component that is.
It'll be an acoustical deck, so it would have the same kind of properties that this tectum does, because these are in open ceiling spaces. So, and the tricky part of it is, it's in the cafeteria space, so you got to take down electrical, you got to pull the deck off, put it on, put the electrical back up. So there's a lot involved in it. So we're trying to do the due diligence and make sure we got everything figured out. So it's a good question, though.
Did we ever, is there a cause of action here, looking at insurance-wise, where we could have some relief, or were we able to find anything with that, or is that ship sailed?
Unless you,
We have had insurance companies come out. They searched for hail damage, any other peril, wind, and did not find any. They sent out a report that they would not recognize that as a covered loss. Looked into warranty on shingles. Similar result, different reason. It had a lot to do with the lack of ventilation, and the cause of the deterioration of shingles was led by extra heat and so on.
Okay.
So we pursued both those with negative results.
How long ago did we have the roof replaced?
2010.
Any other questions? All right, thank you all. Oh. Raise his hand. Okay, financials, Mr. Schwen.
Good evening. Wish I had better news, but you've already got a glimpse of what we're facing this year. What I was told in my webinar last week was from Dr. Cruz that we're facing probably the next couple years some of the hardest years that Missouri's experienced in a long time. I've been around a long time in school finance as a whole, and I know it's cyclical. You have your good years, you have your bad years. So been there, done that, and I know we got a good team here. So I feel very confident we will come up with solutions and play with the cards that were dealt. I would like to go over that new financial report that I put together. I was going to go through a few of the numbers with you. The first section at the top, revenue, I thought I'd point out the numbers at the very bottom. You will see a credit of $3,200,000 and some $1,000. What that tells me is revenue-wise in our operating fund, it's lagging way behind where we were a year ago at the same time. Number one culprit is Senate Bill 190 and the delayed tax revenues coming in there. So I was very optimistic we would see that in March because they gave everybody a 30-day extension, but here we are in March and it's still lagging. So we've inquired and we've been told they're trying to get that resolved as quickly as possible. So I was curious if there was any state statutes forcing them to get the money to us in a certain amount of time, but I haven't found anything. So they're trying. I'll give them that. That's also the reason if you go 2 columns over to the debt service fund, again, lagging tax revenues. Then if you get to the bond fund, you'll see that's down by almost $1 million. Well, last year at this time, we were sitting on a lot more money and earning a lot more in interest. So that decline is primarily interest earnings. Then if you drop down to the next group of numbers, the expenditures, the first number you'll see under the operating fund at the bottom is expenditures are up $1.5 million roughly. That's not too surprising. We did give our people raises this year, and we've already experienced some significant increases in areas such as our music renewal for our insurance. That was a pretty big number. And I know we paid some textbooks right out of the gate that are bumping that number up a little bit too. So columns, the operating fund column and the special revenue column, no real surprises there. And then if you get to the third one over, debt service fund, that's not surprising that it dropped by $4.3 million because last year we made the special payment to help pay down our debt. That did not happen this year, so that's the difference. Then if you drop down to the next 2 major groups are the programs that we added. Nothing really different this month, nothing to really point out, so I'm not going to spend any time on those numbers. Everything's coming in fairly consistent, but I did want to point out far right column, the ending cash balance percentages. And I know that's a big deal. I have been promoting since I took this position that I felt confident we would get to the 20.29%. This is the first month I've adjusted that number, solely based on the news I received last week with SAT now highly likely to remain at 6,900. It could still go up. I hate to say it, but the excuse for why it probably won't go up is because of gambling revenues, lottery revenues, and tobacco revenues. So it's pretty sad that we're requiring those to be larger than they are to make our budget work, but that's the reality of the situation. So I have adjusted the year-end percentage number down to 18.67. I'm hoping I'm still conservative and there's a way we can get in the 20s, but it's not looking real promising at this point. With that being said, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have on this report or any other numbers.
Doug, what is it again? What's the dollar threshold to get a percentage?
For our ending cash balance is about 500,000.
Okay.
So
we need roughly $1 million.
Need to get back to the 20.29, roughly $1 million, and that's where that 850,000 for the SAT number that Dr. Miller mentioned earlier. So that's the difference that we're chasing. So it still could come up, but I guarantee at this point that number won't come up till June. I can almost guarantee that because they're going to wait till the very end and make sure that revenue is solid before they release it. So we could get surprised at the very end, but.
Well, speaking of revenue, like if we're saying we're 3.2 million, that's what we're expecting to come in, right?
Oh, for taxes, the taxes are still going to come through. Yep. It's the funding, the funding formula for SAT is the part that.
But I just know like what you've said, like the taxes are lagging behind.
Yeah.
You're hoping to come in March. Sounds like it's probably going to be April now. But I also know that there's been uncertainty with Senate Bill 190 to where I didn't know if we were factoring in that uncertainty into that 3.2 million or, into the remaining revenue that we're waiting to be collected, or if there's a good chance that that's actually going to be lower as well, because we'll see.
Yeah, the only one I'm adjusting for at this point is the loss in SAT. I feel really confident our tax revenues will show up eventually, but it is sad that we're missing out on $3 million right now that could be drawing interest and it's not. So, but we're not unique. I visited with some of my colleagues in Clay County and they're dealing with the same thing, so.
Doug, one question and a comment. First, the question, looking at one of your other attachments, we don't need to go to it because I'm just going to ask you to characterize the self-funded insurance, Fund 5, now 9 months through the year. How are you feeling about that? Are we having a good year? Are we having a bad year? What's that looking like?
Well, overall, it's been a tough year, but there has been some recent good news. So, in fact, we got an announcement today of almost $80,000 that's coming back to us in our stop loss, correct? So I'm hopeful that the number should be better down the stretch, and we'll be fine once we get to June. But the first half was kind of a tough year as far as claims go.
And my comment is just, as I'm in Jefferson City, what I am hearing is that this is going to be a rough couple of years on budget. They're talking about cutting $2 billion. And so what I think that means for us is we need to probably make sure that we're tightening down our hatches and kind of sharpen our pencils, because the days of federal money kind of rolling in and helping everyone are over. And so we just need to be prepared for, I think, a tougher budget environment. So just something for you to think about as you prepare budgets is how conservative could we be on this? Because that might be what it's going to take on these things.
Absolutely, and we have a very important finance committee meeting on Monday, and that's been a very enjoyable process for me, and I hope it is for the participants. Monday's going to be a real telling story. They're really diving in and building their budgets and making some tough choices. And we're going to evaluate what those tough decisions are that the majority of the group feels we can do and those that we shouldn't touch. So I'm hoping we get some really good feedback from that group and definitely appreciate them taking time out of their personal schedules. So we're on meeting number 4, so that's 8 hours right there that they've put into their time. So great group of people though, and very intelligent. So it's Monday I'm getting really excited for, although it's not, what we're having to do is not fun, you know. But I like numbers and I like crunching numbers, so that part I like.
And they'll get to experience that change in the SAT real time, right? And I mean, and that's a real situation that we're working through. And again, they're a good group of problem solvers.
Yeah, it is, because when I presented it to them 2 Mondays ago, I was still optimistic. We're going to get to 7145 this year, and next year, yeah, we're going to get cut, but it should be 6,900. Now next year, 6,900 is not even guaranteed. There's rumors it could be going back to 6,750, which was from fiscal year 25. So there are a lot of tough decisions on the horizon. So, all right, thank you.
Okay, there's a program evaluation for the Ask at Risk program that was written for your review. Any questions on that? And next we have the program evaluation for special education. Hello?
Hi, good evening. I'm excited to share a little bit about our special education program with you all. Okay, so our 2 strategic plan goals. Goal number 2, academic success and student support. KSD delivers high-quality educational experiences, supporting the diverse needs of all students. And then goal 4, exemplary and valued employees. KSD is committed to high-quality staff who are dedicated to students. Here is a snapshot of our current special education staff. We have an amazing kind of special education leadership team, a new diagnostician, paraprofessionals, teachers, therapists, all do wonderful, wonderful things with our students. Here is kind of a representation of our student population here in Kearney. So in the state of Missouri, there are 13 disability categories. Here you can see the population of students that we have here in Kearney. So our highest disability category is other health impaired, followed by specific learning disability and autism, and that is very comparable with the state. There has been, over the last few years, kind of just a trend of uptick in other health impaired and autism disabilities. Here in Kearney, we currently have 425 students eligible under IDEA that are receiving supports, and that's pre-K through 12th grade. So when we look at that 425 students, that is 12.3% of our student population that is being served on IEPs. So 504s are not a special education. They don't fall under IDEA. They are their own section 504. However, our special education team supports 504s. We handle the compliance and the legal part of evaluating 504s, and so that's why I'm reporting on it. They often get kind of intermingled, but 504s are not part of IDEA. However, we do have 202 students currently eligible for 504s. 185 of those are eligible with a plan. 12 of those are students that are eligible with no plan, and then we have some pending, and that's just kind of our always initial ones that we get. And honestly, I'm sure those numbers have changed since I did that last week. So it's just kind of always, numbers are changing. So when we combined IEP, students with IEPs and then students with 504s, that's a total 18.15% of our student population. Here is just kind of a history of our transfer in and transfer out students, and then also pre-K students who we have sent to kindergarten that have IEPs. So you can kind of see the history. This current school year, we're going to be sending 34, again, that number could change if we identify more students, which I'm sure that we will, but we're going to be sending 34 pre-K students onto kindergarten. That is our largest number, which just means that we are identifying students earlier and helping them, in their earlier education. Here is a snapshot of our budget for the last 3 years. So as you can see, obviously expenditures are slowly increasing along with everything else, but also our revenue is also on the uptick. Special education is not a fully funded program, and so a lot of those costs for supporting students do come at an expense to provide the supports that they require. That's transportation, out-of-district placements, para salaries, any equipment that we may need, those all go into the expenses that come along with special education. All right, I'm going to talk about some fun news. So graduation for the last school year, so 24-25, for students grades 9 through 12, we had 0 dropouts identified for students with disability, which is wonderful. And then the last 4-year graduation rate for students with a disability is at 92.3 compared to the state at 82.3. And you'll kind of see a trend. Kearney is doing amazing when we compare ourselves to the state over the next few slides. So after graduation, we survey kiddos that have graduated and just kind of find out where their path has taken them. And so here I have it listed out, 4-year college, 2-year college, employment, and then employment less than 20 hours. So that would be technically not competitively employed, but still doing some type of employment. And then we have the total. And the total indicates 90.9% of our graduates from 23 and 24 are employed or continuing education. And so that employed means that they are the competitively employed, so working over 20 hours for at least 9 weeks, or they are in some type of continued education or training, which is awesome for all of our graduates. Here is kind of a snapshot of last year's all MAP data, MAP and MAP A, which also includes EOCs at the high school. So this is grades 3 through 12th grade. And this is looking at all of those grades combined, ELA and mathematics. So you can kind of see where our district has scored percent-wise, any students scoring in the proficient or advanced range compared to the state. We're scoring pretty significantly above the state in both areas, trending over the last 3 years. And then we're going to jump to our littles. At the EEC, we kind of report data a little bit differently. So when students enter the program, they are asked these outcome goals. 1 question on social emotional, 1 on their knowledge and skills, and then 1 on their appropriate actions, so kind of like a behavioral question. And then when they exit the program, we rank them on those exact same questions to see if they have made improvement. And so the summary statements that you can see here, our district compared to the state, of the children who entered the program below the age expectations, the percent that increased their rate by the time that they exited, all of our students, we're at 100% for all 3 of those questions, so they all made growth. And then you can see the second question is the percent of students who were functioning within age expectancy. So they were meeting their targets on all of those. So again, above the state in all of those. Program goals for the next year, continue to support special education staff to foster effective practices and retention. Next year we will be expanding our RISE programs to all 4 of our elementary schools. Currently it's in 3, so next year it will be in all 4, so all of our students with disabilities will be in their home schools, which is exciting. And then continue to provide relevant instruction and opportunities to meet the diverse needs of our students and help them reach their educational and post-secondary goals. And then this is a new one for us, so developing programming to better support our students who continue their public education past their graduation year by increasing participation in career readiness at an earlier age. So in the Missouri State Plan, there's proposed language. It was for the 27 26, 27, so next year. However, they've pushed that back a year. We just got word of that. So it will be in the 27, 28 Missouri State Plan that all students leaving 8th grade will have a transition plan. Currently, the state plan states that at age 16, you must have a transition plan. So that kind of bumps it a little bit earlier. And so here in Kearney, we are going to have that by the end of next year. So we'll kind of be a year ahead of the game and just getting all of our students that are leaving 8th grade, they will have Form C, which is our transition plan. And that is it. Any questions for me?
Hannah, you showed us a couple slides that compared some state data
Yeah.
with Kearney data. I'm curious if there is state or peer data between costs. So are you able to look and see if we're spending more or less than our peers are or the state is? Do we have data? Is that something that's available that we
On our
track?
budget?
Yeah.
That is not on the state report. However, I can look into that and see if we have that type of information on other school districts.
I will tell you this, just from a head count perspective, it's not getting dollars and cents. You know, we're at what, a little over 12%. Nationally, it's what, 13, 14?
13.93.
Right, and you'll have a lot of districts in the state that can run 17,
yeah.
18, 20%. And then you also get additional weighted funding for that. We don't do that. I think the process that Hannah's identified is really trying to streamline and really identify students that really need the services. So in that regard, the other thing that she's done, I've got to give her a lot of credit for, is that she's really tried to streamline and right-size staffing. I think, not that no one ever wants to say they have an abundance of paras, but what she really tried to do was step back and take a look at class size, class need, and kind of standardize that a little bit more than what's been done in the past. And I think probably scaled back, probably 8 to 10 positions over the last 2 years. So I think she's been really mindful about expense because the costs continue to increase.
No, I'd be interested just to understand, to your point, I think one of the traps you could fall in is that it may not, our normal competitors may not be who we ought to compare ourselves against. You know, if you're looking at Blue Springs or some of those folks, that may not be an appropriate comparison.
Sure.
So figuring out what the appropriate comparison, whether that's by the number of students or however we figure out how we ought to compare that, I do think it's useful to look at that and kind of have some sense of where you are and if there are areas where we should spend more, less, just understanding what that looks like.
And she mentioned it. It's a federally mandated program, and the federal funds that we receive for this are a drop in the bucket compared to that roughly $8 million in expenditure. Doug, do you know off the top of your head, just on IDEA, is that probably about $500,000 we receive from the federal government? I'm ballparking it. We can give you some formal numbers, but
whatever you think's appropriate. I'm not asking you to go compare things. I don't want you to compare apples and hand grenades, right? Like, let's get something a little closer there. So let's figure out what makes sense to compare.
Sure. Okay.
There is one comparison that we do have high needs fund. I mean, we can publicly see what other districts get for that. So obviously we do the high needs fund. But again, you only get as much as the students that you can count in that. So again, we can look at other districts, but we all have different numbers of how many students.
And high need fund is for students that have exorbitant costs. So they have to, in order to meet that high need threshold, the district has to be paying 3 times the average expenditure per pupil. So on average, let's say we pay about $12,000 per student. We need to be paying $36,000 or more in order to recapture funds back and receive the revenue. So could be an out-of-district placement, could be assigned a one-to-one para. Is there any other?
Those are our main ones, yeah.
Okay.
How is revenue generated? You said like it keeps increasing.
Sure.
What does that look like?
So where we get our revenue, and Doug, if I'm incorrect, please correct me. So there's a few sources. Early childhood, special education, we receive 100% reimbursement for that program in particular. We also get federal funds through IDEA. And then we also get the high need fund, which Hannah referenced, which is that 3 times the cost per pupil. So for exorbitant costs.
What the expectation is in relationship to the amount of funds that are received?
So locally, for that high-cost student, let's say we have a $100,000 student that's in an out-of-district placement, using $12,000 as the average expenditure per pupil. Locally, we would have to pay $36,000, and then that high need fund would cover anything beyond that.
Okay. Is the high need fund guaranteed, though?
I think they have been paying that out pretty consistently.
They have.
And then I've got a couple questions that you may have already met. So our largest category is other. What falls into other?
So that category is other health impaired. That's the disability category. So there's actually quite a bit that falls into that. The main one that we see is students with ADHD, but there are also many things that can fall into other health impaired. Obviously, you have to meet the qualifications under the standards and indicators for other health impaired, but it can be students with Tourette's, a student that had lead poisoning, just something where it substantially impacts their ability to participate in the regular education.
I was just wondering, being our biggest
Yeah.
category.
And that is one that it's, like I said, it's trending upwards. Autism and other health impaired over the last 5 years have just really increased. And I will say, I can get you our incident rates compared to the state, but we are in all categories very comparable to Kearney's incident rate to the Missouri's incident rate, which tells us that we are identifying students correctly. We're not over-identifying or under-identifying in any of the categories.
And then my second question would be kind of to your transfers of transferring the students into the classroom, stuff like that. What's the feedback, what loop, in terms of gathering feedback on, is it successful? Are there things that we can work out? What's that look like? Do we have like anything implemented, like a pipeline or anything where we can get feedback real time to understand? Because I just look at that and, it was a testament for you to say, hey, we're having a record number going in this year. So it's just, I'm just wondering, like, what do our teachers have to be able to feedback to and let you guys know, like, what's working,
How
what's
it's
not
going.
working?
No, that's
Yeah.
a really good question. And honestly, a lot of that is Dr. Baugh at EEC. And so just to clarify, the transfer ins and the transfer outs, those are students, that's pre-K-12 in district and out of district. And that can be anything, obviously a lot of that happens over the summer of kiddos that just leave or come in. But specifically the kiddos that we send from pre-K to kindergarten, we've really improved and we have like a really good transition process where those are kindergarten teachers, not kindergarten principals, elementary principals come and observe all of those kiddos, and we have a very streamlined process of those kids being prepared for kindergarten. And so I don't know that we have a measure off the top of my head of how our students that we send from pre-K compared to kiddos that don't attend our pre-K, but that would be something to look into as far as like kindergarten readiness.
Was the question regarding pre-K specifically, or just
Not necessarily. It was just in general, because I also know with RISE, with the RISE program as well, we're starting in the higher grade levels, we're starting to implement back into the classroom as well. So I'm just overall in terms of a feedback loop to be able to get for continuous improvement purposes such like that. So I'm just trying to understand what that looks like for our teachers as we start to implement these programs and put these kids back into the classroom, that there's a feedback.
The nice thing about special education is it requires an annual individual education plan meeting with parents. So you were getting feedback with each and every family annually. So.
And I will say in general, specifically to our RISE program, the families that have moved into their home schools, it's been a very positive message. A lot of them have siblings and friends in their neighborhoods, and so the parents have really enjoyed their students being in their home schools.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next we have action items. Newkirk-Novak amendment.
Move to approve the amendment 11 with Newkirk-Novak as presented.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Did you have a question?
Eric thought somebody had one that said
I looked down your way. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Approval of agreement with Cornerstones of Care.
Move to approve the agreement with Cornerstones of Care as presented.
Second?
So as you may recall, back in January, I brought a few members of our multi-tiered systems of support team. That team was charged with finding the right fit for Kearney School District and really looking at our philosophy and tiered practices that help us to identify and look at skills for students and match that with some interventions. So part of that team determined through the surveys and through our discussion that we need a framework that's consistent across pre-K through 12. In that, we looked at different frameworks, and the team consensus was to look at BIST, Cornerstones of Care, and several administrators had worked through with this since it's been around since the 1990s. It's been in the Midwest primarily, so it is super local as well. We just really want to front load our administrators, our counselors, social workers, and some team leaders with changing some mindsets a little bit around how to identify skills and help streamline some of the academics, the behavior side of things that match academics. So we're just asking for your approval tonight. And that those funds would be planned in the Clay County Children's Services Fund budget. What questions do you have for me?
So this would fold into what, like the counselors are doing for their classroom time as well when they meet with kids, like it would be the entire fabric of what we're trying to accomplish in this area?
Yes, it's not specifically a program, it's more of a framework. So it's really looking at philosophy and trying to help adults first understand grace and accountability and making sure that we understand.
I hear alignment.
Alignment is what we are.
That's what I hear.
That's the whole goal of the MTSS committee, and we've met, I believe, a total of 6 times. So it's been a lot of work, and that team has been wonderful to really get into some great big conversations on what's the best fit for Kearney. So
that group you mentioned earlier, they'll be the first to go and get that training and then kind of disseminate that out?
they'll be a part of that teacher leader team, yes,
Okay.
that joins. Yep.
When you say the 4,900 will be from the Children's Services Fund budget, do you mean that you're going to ask for that as a part of, or it's already been approved? Like what?
We're in the middle right now. If we've submitted the budget, and it has not been approved right now yet, but that's where we are hoping to pull that budget line item from.
What if they say no?
It's a minimal cost, so I'm not sure if if we say no, then it will fund it locally.
Yeah, it's a district priority for us to get this, the alignment, K-12. I would think that we would need to come up with local funds if there was a reduction.
Would it need to come back to us since it says it's coming out of the Children's Fund budget? If that doesn't happen, would it need to come back?
I would think if, let's say, Children's Fund budget was reduced, I would still think this would be a priority, so it would stay within the grant. We would look for other areas potentially to reduce.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if we approve this and enter into a contract, it kind of makes it hardlined into the budget to where, like, if we did have future budget reductions, we would have to consider this as kind of like a set in stone item.
Right. I feel like this is very closely aligned with our strategic plan as far as an instructional priority.
It's $5,000, so it's not like, but I was just curious, like, what happens if, these things don't happen? That's why I asked the question, not because of the amount of the money, just because of the source that it's coming from and the process if something were to go awry.
So we have in the past had a reduction in the Children's Fund grant. I believe at some point we were over $1 million in that grant funding, and it was reduced to, I want to say, over 800,000. So we have not heard that it's going to be eliminated, but I think we could prepare if it was reduced.
I think, that's all my comments.
Okay, all right.
Ready to vote? All in favor? Opposed? All right, thank you. E-rate fiber lease agreement.
Move to approve the E-rate fiber lease agreement with Unite Private Network, Segra as presented.
Second?
Hi, Ryan.
Hello. So for the past 20 years, KSD has partnered with United Private Networks to provide underground fiber service between all of our buildings. The federal E-rate program provides a 50% discount on fiber service, so we requested bids through E-rate. Only one bid was received, United Private Networks, now known as Segra, and we've been very happy with their service over the past 20 years. So we are bringing this new 15-year agreement at $39,000 per year for your consideration. By choosing that 15-year term, we're saving $6,000 per year. Any questions?
All right. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next, Provision Data Solutions.
Move to approve the 50,000 E-rate purchase from Provision Data Solutions as presented.
Second?
So as we talked about earlier, the federal E-rate program also provides a 50% discount on networking equipment within our buildings, such as wireless and switching equipment. This part of the E-rate program provides $201.57 per student over a 5-year budget, and that dollar amount is the pre-discount amount. The purchase brought forth for consideration here is a continuation of our network refresh cycle and a transition to Fortinet products, and will fully replace the switches and wireless access points at Kearney Junior High with Fortinet products, which we also implemented last summer at Kearney Elementary and Hawthorne Elementary. Bids were received through the E-rate program, and the bid for $121,095 from Provision Data Solutions came in as the lowest of 2 bids. We did use this vendor last summer for those 2 projects as well.
Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Power School?
Move to approve the agreement with Power School as presented.
Second?
As was shared previously in the board update, KSD has used Registration Gateway from Link since 2020 for online enrollment and back-to-school registration. In recent months, the product has been having numerous problems importing data into Power School, causing an abundance of extra work on our staff. Both Link and Power School blame each other for the problem. To improve both the user experience for families and to remedy the data import issue, we looked at enrollment products offered by Power School so that we had one vendor to work with on any issues rather than playing the blame game. Many districts in our area already use Enrollment Express and eCollect and are very satisfied with the product. For your consideration here is a 39-month agreement, which will allow us to pay for implementation and 3 months of service in the current fiscal year by reallocating budget dollars from other technology projects and continuing on with an additional 3-year agreement. The cost comparison between the old and new solutions actually results in an annual savings on licensing costs while providing numerous benefits for our families and our staff. By moving forward with this solution now, we can be ready for back-to-school registration in July. Any questions?
I've actually got a few on this, Ryan. So this is the Link Connect that we use to fund the school balances, or is this different?
That's actually the same company, but a different product.
Okay.
So Link Connect is part of our food service program, which is was formerly known as Titan, but is now Link Food Service.
So this won't affect any of that stuff? Or will it affect that relationship?
It will not affect that relationship tonight. Going forward, we are looking at changing from Link and going back into Power School. So that's for a future month. But.
Doug, take notice. Ryan brought several things there that reduce 15-year contracts. I like what we're doing here.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Board member comments? Anybody has any comments? Okay. Important dates. Spring break's coming up in another week or so. May 30th, April 3rd, April 11th. It's a fundraiser with the Kansas City Wizards for the Education Foundation. April 15th is our next board meeting. April 30th is the awards and retiree reception. Anything else for the good of the cause? We are adjourned. Oh, miscellaneous, why did I forget that?
Action for closed session to immediately proceed the regular meeting schedule, including any
Darlene's ready
record
to
or
go.
votes, to discuss items and issues allowable under section 610-021 of the Missouri Sunshine Law.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Matt Baker?
Yes.
Jason Clint?
Aye.
Jake Klingensmith?
Yes.
Christina Lindsay?
Yes.
Bree Switzer?
Yes.
Nick Vaskus?
Yes.
Darlene Bailey?
Yes. It's been a long week. I thought I'd screw up before that.
Smack the gavel twice on